You would think that a lioness and a baby deer would make for a very dangerous combination. Not only is a lioness one of the top predators in the food chain, but a poor defenseless deer infant is truly no match for her powerful jaws. However, what happens when these two cross paths is sure to surprise you. When a lioness found this little lost deer, you would think it would have wound up as chopped venison. However, the lioness chose to take care of the little one, keeping it under her protection. Definitely a strange encounter due to the savage reputation of the lion. One must wonder if the kind demeanor will last. One has to suspect the lioness has raised cubs before and her motherly instincts kicked in. An infant deer would make for easy prey for such a powerful predator. Yet she chose to care for it. And it's a good thing, too, because other predators would have definitely picked it off quickly. The lioness decides to care for the little deer as if it were her own. You have to wonder what happened to the deer's mother. Could another lion have killed her? Thankfully, this lioness has chosen to show some mercy. Hopefully, this isn't some cruel joke and her kindness is really meal preparation. Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story. What happens next will truly warm your heart. The lioness begins to clean the little deer. The deer doesn't seem to mind it one bit. In fact, he seems to enjoy it. We're sure being lost and alone in the wilderness was rough on the little guy. However, the deer begins to grow anxious once the teeth come out. While the lioness is doing her best to be gentle, we can't blame the little one for wanting to get out of the way of those fangs. They could do some serious damage in one accidental bite. When evaluating the deer, it seems to be only a few days old. The poor thing most likely lost its mother to another predator while she was out looking for food. Thankfully, this lioness has chosen to show it some mercy, otherwise it would have most likely experienced the same fate. Unfortunately, the tide seems to change quickly and the lioness decides to open wide. Did she decide the deer would make a better meal than a companion? It definitely looks like the little fella's time is limited. The deer screams out in fear as the lioness's fangs begin to dig deep into its little body. Why did the lioness change her mind? Did the deer just smell too good to resist? Thankfully, dinner was not on the lioness's mind. She was only trying to pick the deer up like she would her cubs. It seems she wants to take the little guy with her. However, the deer definitely seems a little unsure regarding this turn of events. As the lioness continues her trek across the plains, the baby deer tries to wiggle its way out of her mouth. Unfortunately, she's got a strong hold on him, so he eventually gives up. Sorry, little buddy, you're going on this journey whether you like it or not. Sadly, it seems this journey is not the most comfortable. We can't imagine the pain the little deer is enduring as he's dragged around by the lioness. However, she acts like this is just another typical day in the wild. Despite the baby deer's screams, the lioness continues her trek. Where could she be going? We hope her kindness wasn't a cruel game and she's actually taking the little one to her pack as a snack. In an abrupt change of pace, the lioness drops the deer and stares it down. The deer looks back as if it's too afraid to move. However, what happens next may surprise you. The baby deer makes a run for it. After all the help from the lioness, you would think the little guy would have better manners. Unfortunately, he senses danger is just around the corner. Amused by his futile effort to run away, the lioness simply picks the deer back up in her mouth. He isn't going anywhere. She then begins their journey once again. We truly hope it doesn't have a bad ending. The lioness seems quite content with the deer in her mouth. We sincerely hope she hasn't changed her mind when it comes to the little fella being a snack. They've already had such a bonding experience. Once again, the deer has had enough. It wiggles out of the lioness's jaws and tries to make a run for it. You would think this little one would realize he's no match against years of predatory instinct. However, you can't blame him for trying. The lioness, of course, simply takes a few steps and he's back in her mouth. The deer once again cries out, unsure of its fate. And we have to admit, we're a little nervous too. What game is the lioness playing? Does she want to protect the little deer, or is she just prepping her meal for the kill? We really hope it's not the latter. Unfortunately, the fate of the baby deer is up in the air. The lioness continues to walk off with the little one in her mouth. Whether he was being carried to safety or his eventual end, we'll never know. All we can say is send your prayers for the little one. He's going to need all the help he can get. But wait! Although this baby deer's fate is unknown, this situation has actually been caught on tape before. It seems as if the young female lions are practicing how to take care of a child, and because they don't have a baby of their own, they help babies in need. There have even been reports of female lions adopting calves of all varieties and almost fighting to the death for their new young ones. The child-rearing instinct is so intense in these mothers, it seems as if they're completely going against nature. In some cases, the lioness even hunted the calf down, separating it from its mother, terrifying it, and then, in an instant, changing her demeanor. Going from fierce hunting predator to warm, loving adoptive mother, even if it was a forced adoption. This behavior has interested scientists and animal behavioral experts for years as more and more of it has been seen. There has even been a case where a lioness kills a pregnant antelope, realizes it, tries to nudge the baby back to life, and shows obvious remorse for killing a baby. She even stood over the corpse and protected it. Due to the unnatural behavior represented by the unusual bond between predator and prey, rivaling theories have been debated for quite some time. Some believe that it is the strong urge to mother that forces this bond, while others are certain it's the lioness's way of saving the calf as a meal for later. Obviously, the theories are vastly different, while both maintain enough evidence to continue to be supported. The most famous case of a lioness and the adopted baby actually occurred more than a decade ago and was captured by African newspapers that celebrated the surprising event. They stated that the lioness took on the loving role of adopted aunt to not one, but 3 orphaned oryx calves. It was such an amazing event that it will be remembered by those who witnessed it forever, and it took place in Kenya's Samburu National Park. In one of the most bizarre cases yet, a lioness not only stole a baby calf from its mother, but she even let the real mother feed it for a few minutes a day before taking over mommy duties again. This is quite a unique situation because the calf wasn't orphaned and the mother wasn't eaten by the interested lion. The next fact I tell you will really have you thinking about what is truly going on here. Local newspapers and media began to pay particular attention to the dates in which these interesting events were happening. It's not as if these wild adoptions were randomly occurring. They were all happening on significant holidays, for some people anyway. The adoptions were taking place on Christmas Day, Good Friday, and Valentine's Day. The idea that these mothers were holding the babies as food reserves isn't quite as sound when you take in the grief some of these lions expressed when their adoptive babies were savagely eaten by nearby male lions. If it was all about food, why would they express sadness in their deaths? And we're not talking about feeling a little upset about someone eating your leftovers. We're talking real grief. The same witnessed when they experience a death in the pride or the loss of one of their own offspring. Although shocking due to the unnatural bond that is formed between predator and prey, some experts aren't as shocked as others. BBC reported that Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick, a conservationist, said, "It does happen, but it's quite unusual. Lions, like all other species, including human beings, have this kind of feeling for babies. If we look at it through a human lens, we can empathize and recognize this behavior. After all, there was a time when child welfare was the last issue on people's minds, and now the idea of adoption is widely accepted and even encouraged. Could this be an evolutionary step for the lion?" Lions aren't the only animals observed exhibiting this kind of behavior. There have even been cases of dogs adopting squirrels, a sperm whale adopting a deformed bottlenose dolphin calf, and even cats adopting mice. These are some of nature's most intriguing and feel-good stories, and we hope to see them more. We can only hope that the kindness the wild shows toward babies can be applied to all aspects of life. especially regarding human and animal interaction. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.